Welcome back, trainers! So as you may know, we're going to be getting Armor Mewtwo in Pokemon Go coming July 10th, but we are also going to be going over the counters for the newer trainers or to just give you a refresher. And between the time period in which it is going to be entering in Pokemon Go from July 10th until the 31st, there will be 3 raid days. One on the day of the release from 6 until 7 in your local time zone, then July 17th, same time, and then finally on the 24th. So if you're not going to be necessarily available for the complete release of this Armor Mewtwo, I would urge you to take advantage of these raid days if Niantic so chooses to include them for it. I'm assuming they're going to continue on like this. So you'll be able to get as many as you can between that 1 hour period with everybody out there who's going to be raiding this Armor Mewtwo. And I'm going to tell you this, it's going to be completely packed with people trying to get this because it's Armor Mewtwo. This is absolutely insane, something that we were speculating, but it just seems so far-fetched. Maybe we're thinking possibly a shiny variant, but well, they went ahead and just dropped the Armor Mewtwo. Now, as far as the movesets, we're not completely sure on exactly what it's going to be getting. If it's going to maintain its old movesets, or if it's going to actually gain some new ones, possibly like Meteor Mash. That's complete speculation, but at this point, we're just going to assume it's going to have all of its old moves. Now, let's go ahead and go over those counters. Alright, so we are over here on the Go Hub. I will be leaving a link in the description so you can go ahead and check out this yourself. Now, assuming that this Mewtwo is going to maintain its moves that it did have when it was released throughout the raids outside of the EX invites, that is going to be Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Focus Blast, and Psychic. Then these are going to be your counters here, and who knows if it's going to actually pick up a new move. We'll see, but for now, let's just go ahead and go off of that. Number 1 counter is going to be Giratina Origin Form with Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, Gengar with Shadow Claw and Hex, and then Shadow Ball for your charge, Mewtwo, Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, Tyranitar, Bite and Crunch, Weavile, Feint Attack and Foul Play, Deoxys, Poison Jab, and Dark Pulse. That's Deoxys attack form. Absol with Snarl and Dark Pulse, and then finally Raikou with Thundershock and Shadow Ball. Now for that 100% IV Armor Mewtwo non-weather boost, that's going to be 2387. 2387 non-weather boosted. Under windy weather for that pure psychic type, that's going to be 2984. 2984 for 100% IV under windy weather for that Armor Mewtwo. So when you see these, make sure you do catch them, because as of now, I mean, it's seeming like it's going to be the same Mewtwo, but I think the defense and the attack are going to be swapped out, making it a little bit different than the original. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and go over my personal counters here. Bug, Ghost, and Dark types, everything that Mewtwo is going to be weak against for that Armor Mewtwo here. And I'm just going to kind of make some recommendations depending upon the move that the Mewtwo does have. You know, what we usually do when we go over counters. So Tyranitar here is going to be pretty solid. Seeing if it does not have Focus Blast, that will absolutely demolish you being a Rock and a Dark type. And if it does have any sort of psychic moves, then you're going to be absolutely good to go because you will be resisting those. And if it has anything else, you should be alright, especially Flamethrower. So Tyranitar is going to be a good to go Pokemon choice for sure. Now, as far as the Giratina Origin Form, which I need to make another one of those, that is also going to be fantastic, especially if it does have Focus Blast, because it will be resisting that. Now, if it does return with Shadow Ball, then Giratina is going to be going down very fast because that Shadow Ball is going to be hitting hard. That's if it even returns with that move. We do not know. Weavile, another fantastic option here. You just need to look out for Focus Blast being a Dark as well as a Ice type. Both of those are going to be weak to fighting, so you're going to be going down really fast. Also, you need to look out for Flamethrower because you're going to be an Ice type taking super effective damage. Feint Attack and Foul Play is what you want on your Weavile. And this is doing a little bit more damage than Tyranitar. It's not going to be able to last as long, but your damage output will be a little bit higher. I mean, you could use Heracross as well. It's going to be a bug type, but, you know, there's going to be better bug options to go with. You also do have Scizor here with Fury Cutter and X Scissor. You should be generally safe for most of its moves, except if it does have Flamethrower. That's going to be absolutely destroying you, being a bug and steel type. Scizor's only weakness, and you're actually going to be 4 times weak to that. Then you have Yanmega, which you need to look out for Ice Beam and Flamethrower. Otherwise, you should be okay. And you'll be looking really good if it does have Focus Blast. Bug and flying types both do resist fighting moves, so you will be able to actually just tank that hit, taking a good amount of damage, but still being able to stay in the fight and then gaining energy for your Bug Buzz. So you do want Bug Bite and Bug Buzz on your Yanmegas. Looking great. Can't wait till they release that shiny. That's going to be great. And now we have Gengars, right? So if it does have Focus Blast, this is going to be your best Pokemon to pick, okay? Because Ghost resists fighting as well as poison, so you'll have a doubled up resistance there, just tanking those Focus Blasts. On the other hand, if it did have Confusion, it's going to be hurting you quite a bit. But say it did have Psycho Cut and Focus Blast, you'll be looking great. Otherwise, if it does have Confusion and Psychic, Gengars do need to look out because they're just going to be going down like rocks. For any other movesets, it's going to be hurting you because, well, Gengar is a Glass Cannon, Shadow Ball, and Shadow Claw is what you want, or Hex, or Lick. I mean, honestly, when it comes down to Gengar's quick move, you can pretty much almost have anything. Yes, there's going to be better options, but if you're like, well, I don't have any of those legacies, and you have a couple powered up, they're still going to be decent as long as you have Shadow Ball on that Gengar, all right? And then moving on, you could pick Alolan Muck, but its DPS is just, it's not that great. You have Honchkrow here with Snarl and Dark Pulse, which is going to be a decent option, seeing that if it does not have Thunderbolt or Ice Beam, both of those are going to be super effective to you because you are going to be a part flying. As far as the Focus Blast, it will hurt and do a good amount of damage being a part Dark type, but that flying type is going to kind of neutralize it, but you're still not going to be resisted. And then we have Houndoom, which Snarl and Foul Play is going to be an okay option. You just have to look out for that Focus Blast. Otherwise, you will be resisting the Psychic moves being a Dark type. And when it comes down to the Flamethrower, you will be resisting that as well because you're a Fire type. So looking good on that end. Pinsir is going to be the best bug counter with Bug Bite and X Scissor. So if you have one of those, that's going to work as well. But once again, you need to look out for Flamethrower because it's going to be a bug type and you're going to be weak to that. As far as Ice Beam, you don't need to really worry about it. It's still going to be hurting you, but still, you'll be able to stay in that fight. And now we're kind of just teetering down. Then you have Absol, of course, which is the Glass Cannon. You only have to look out for Focus Blast, but on the other hand, it's so weak that pretty much any move is going to be doing a good amount of damage. Unless you're going up against Psychic moves, then you will be resisting those, in which Absol should be able to soak up those hits to some degree. And then moving down the list, it's just going to kind of teeter down here. And like we said, Giratina Origin Form is going to be your best counter, period. So if you have some of those powered up, then, well, it's probably just going to recommend those right off the bat. So you can just go recommended. But honestly, you should probably just make a party and be prepared ahead of time so you're ready to go. And obviously the moves are going to be Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball on that Giratina Origin Form. All right, now taking a look at other Pokemon outside of getting Stab here, we have Mewtwo, of course, which is going to be a great counter with Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, or Confusion and Shadow Ball. But you may want to go with Psycho Cut, seeing that you're going to be able to charge that Shadow Ball, which is going to be doing super effective damage more often. And I have a couple of those, so if you do have those, you'll be looking pretty good. And if you're wondering, well, should I trade people for that? Should I give them shinies or legacies? It's really up to you. We have no idea if Mewtwo is going to actually return with Shadow Ball in the future. So if you want one, personally, go for it because Mewtwo with Shadow Ball is just a great option. So when Armor Mewtwo does return, using Mewtwo itself is going to be a great option because you're going to be resisting the Psycho Cut, the Confusion, the Psychic, and the Focus Blast. As far as all of the elemental moves, you'll be taking neutral damage, but still, it's going to be a great option. Mewtwo can take those hits to some degree there. That's just saying if it does not return with Shadow Ball, right? And then if we move down here, we just want to look for Pokemon with Bite and Crunch, kind of like you have Gyarados, but mine personally does not have that moveset, but you can have Bite and Crunch on those, as well as Arcanine. And let's see, what else we can do? Oh, I mean, you have Mew here, which depending on which move you have, Snarl is going to be great, Shadow Claw is going to be great, also Dark Pulse, or anything else that's going to be super effective on that Mew because, you know, ton of moves. But I recommend you don't go and siphon through all your TMs trying to find the perfect counter moveset for Mewtwo unless you're trying to do some sort of unique challenge or really like to use Mew going up against the Armor Mewtwo, in which that's going to be your option. A little nostalgia movie action there, I suppose, even though that fight never even occurred with the Armor Mewtwo in the movie, in the older one at least. And then moving on here, let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, I mean, this isn't a great option. I mean, you can go Charge Beam, Shadow Ball, Gardevoir. You'll be doing super effective with the Shadow Ball there at least. Then you have Alakazam. If it did have Psychic moves, you can go with Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball. Like I said, these are just kind of off picks, not necessarily going to be your best counters, but there is something there. Like I said, the Arcanine with Bite and Crunch if you do have that. And other than that, folks, you're pretty much just going to want to go with those other counters that we went over in the first place. Everything else is just going to kind of be a little bit weak here. And with that said, trainers, I'd like to say thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and stay up to date in all Pokemon Go news. And I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.